Well, you might find this hard to believe.
Easier.
Yeah, anyone want to get the black light on Miles's jeans?
Well, things just got eerily quiet.
I didn't mean to kill the vibe completely.
We're just
that
all
means-
thinking about the best way that we could kill you without anybody knowing.
We are very
We're
lucky.
very killable.
It's a good venue for that.
Killable?
When we got the basement, guys, you should have seen it. It looked like a torture room. It looked
Wow.
like someone had been or was about to be tortured out there.
Did they have murdering tools? Everything like.
Actually, we found a flamethrower down there.
Actually?
Actually.
No shit.
Yeah, we
That's
found
kinda
I
it.
didn't even lift it up.
Thrower can.
We found
Thrower,
a bunch
can't
of
throw.
rubbish.
Thrower, she was too heavy.
Thrower, I hardly know her.
Right, which is where we always end up.
You guys too? Wow. We have a problem.
Did we just become best friends?
We'll see.
First we had to stack our beds on top of each other to make bunk beds.
Right.
Yeah. More or less. Alright, cool. Well,
You can hear how things sound?
I can hear the thing. There's a lot of room in it.
Can you guys speak some more words?
Speaking
Speaking
words.
words.
Speaking words.
Also, think there's a fan on in the bathroom, maybe?
There's a couple of fans. Let me do a quick grab those.
You gonna say the thing?
Would you like to be the honors?
I would love to do the honors. Well, this is episode 1 of the Bunker Broadcast. At long last, a podcast where the once stashed bunk staff kick back to laugh and ask bands about new tracks and true craft.
Wow.
Thank
That's
you
a
for
cool
coming.
intro.
Very good.
Thank you
I
very
like
much
that.
for being here, guys.
That was surreal.
Yeah, welcome JIN the Band, the very first band to come onto the Bunker Broadcast podcast. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This is a sweet space.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we just wanted to chit chat about some stuff and things, and also stuff.
We love all those
Both.
things.
I mean, if we could cover the things and the stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly stuff.
That's mostly everything. If you get
Yeah.
the things and the stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
95% of the way there.
Right.
Very cool, very cool.
Well, I'd say let's start at the beginning of the road. How did you guys get yourselves into music?
Alright, who wants to answer this one?
Well,
we going individually here? Or?
Yeah, you go
suppose it's-
first.
Okay.
You go first.
Well, my dad is a musician. He's like by trade, so I grew up around music like my whole life, and he's a drummer, and so I learned drums as a kid, but it didn't really stick for me. Like it wasn't really. Well, everybody used to ask me if I played drums like my dad, and I didn't like answering yes to that question. And so, as a stubborn 12-year-old, I picked up the bass for my music class, and kind of never looked back from there. And I
To your
didn't-
dad's dismay, I'm sure.
no, he loved it because he could jam with me.
Very
Right?
true.
And
Rhythm
rhythm
section,
section,
yeah.
right? So, and like, I mean, drums and bass are like sister instruments, right?
Exactly.
So,
But having 2 drummers in the house is...
too much maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, two drummers too many actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, music was kind of ingrained in me. If we're talking music. So
Nice.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's my brother and sister. So we
I was
grew up.
wondering which... I knew
Yeah.
one.
It's, I know,
Can you
like.
see the resemblance?
No.
Okay, no, when he doesn't have a beard, we
When I don't
look
have a
like the
beard.
same person.
Sure.
It's actually kind of
Okay.
scary. But when he has a beard, we look different. I shave
Or
my
if you
beard,
grow
so-
yours out, I was gonna. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I prefer to shave it because I don't want his ego to take a hit because I can, trust me, I can grow one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joe started playing drums probably 2 years before I started playing guitar. He was like 5, I think.
7?
Okay, so I think he was like 5. No, he's probably like 6 or 7. And our dad bought an old kit, a Mapex kit, right, off of our uncle. He was in a band, and Joe wanted to play drums. Our dad used to play drums, so he showed Joe some stuff, and Joe progressed very quickly. So then had to put him in lessons, and I was watching all this happen, and I was like, "This is cool! Like I want to do this." But I
Sibling rivalry,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit.
No, honestly, no. I was like, I was attached to Joe growing up. I wore his clothes. I went everywhere he went. I wanted to hang out with him all the time. Then like I developed into like my own individual person and realized how
They're
much cooler I
they're
was.
recording this, by the way.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
But
Thank
for
you.
the record, Nicole
For the
is
record.
much cooler than Joe.
Right, and I
would
as
agree.
soon as I
Anyone would
realized that,
say.
I
100%,
haven't
yeah.
talked to him yet. I mean, it's been like probably, it's been like 17 years since I've really like had respect for him, but anyway.
The day you picked up your first instrument, like, I don't need him anymore.
So yeah, and I like messed around on drums a bit, but it wasn't the thing I wanted to do. And our dad exposed us to all kinds of like 70s and 60s music, so I got really attached to Zeppelin, and I still am. To a like, it's almost a little bit scary. It's like kind of an obsession, but I want to be Jimmy Page basically. I'm not, but I play guitar, so that's like part of it,
Just
right?
that you're like halfway there.
I'm like at least probably about
12%.
12%'s high. I'm at least 7.5% of the way there.
Very pragmatic, this group.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Right.
don't like their numbers are accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
There's
all
no
in
guesstimation.
finance, right?
Yeah.
So that's our core, right?
Finance.
And in here, that's what it is. It's all numbers all day. So yeah, I picked up guitar. Joe was doing drums, and we started jamming together.
Love it.
And it probably didn't sound very good at first. Now that I'm thinking about it,
It's on
And,
YouTube.
Yeah, we do
Ooh,
have
yeah,
videos,
check that
but
out.
I mean even before then though, when we were like very little.
Oh,
Yeah, our parents, God bless, they had no issues with it whatsoever, and that could have been the complete other way. Yeah, so they just had to listen to us. I will say Joe was a lot better, a lot quicker than I was at drums, than I was at guitar. All right, so I feel like I've said my bit.
Joe, does anything to add
Joe,
to
would you like
that
to
double
defend yourself?
answer?
No, no defense needed. It's a great drink.
Yeah. There we go.
Um,
That's the important part.
Kill him with kindness.
she pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, Joe doesn't always talk that much, so I figured I'd kind of cover
Yeah,
those
I mean-
bases.
That's it for me.
All right.
You know.
Let's go backwards this time.
Okay.
I wanted to really quickly before jumping into the next question. I did not get a full intro with your names. I realized once
Oh,
you all
sure.
started talking individually. So here we have JIN the Band, obviously, but can you guys just introduce yourselves as individuals?
I'm Miles Rogers, and I play the bass.
Hi, Miles.
Hi, Miles.
Hi Miles.
Hi.
I'm Nicole. I
Hi,
play
Nicole.
guitar and I sing.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
I'm Joe. I play the drums.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Nice to meet you all.
Good job. That was great.
That was very good.
Like you're really coming out of your shell right now.
Yeah.
I really dig that.
You have another question?
I love talking about influences, and I love talking about how you relate your own playing and your own creation to influences. Like, sure, you might be influenced by one person, but you would never guess by listening to how you play. You know, who are your influences, and who do you think you represent as your influence?
Which were as a band
Joe.
or individually?
Yeah,
Which
we're
way-
gonna go
individually?
Or you can answer as JIN or as an individual.
Oh,
Okay, I'll answer as an individual first, I guess. Like Nicole, I'm a giant Led Zeppelin fan.
Ah,
Excellent.
So John Bonham is my
yeah.
idol.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say him mainly, and then like as I got older, I started getting into the funk stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a John Bonham if he was a funk drummer kind of thing.
Sick.
Kind of going on.
That's a really good way.
Agree.
That's a really good way of putting it. Actually, I would
Yeah.
say that for sure.
And then,
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. It's the drink. It's the booze.
Yeah, we should say
I'm telling you, it's like
It's a bartender. Then all of a sudden it becomes a
Yeah.
gin.
it's a secret time.
Yeah, I don't know. As a band, I mean, we could all answer this one.
Yeah,
but like
it's all
Zeppelin,
over, right? Like,
our live performance this past year, we really started basically ripping off Zeppelin's live stuff, and how they go on. They start a song and they go on like 20-minute tangents,
Yeah.
yeah.
and you forget what song they're playing, and then somehow 30 minutes later they start the song that they
Yeah.
started with again.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to
You know.
Zeppelin for not copyrighting anything and letting us steal all their stuff. and
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, like, that's how they did it.
We've
so.
never had an original idea in our lives. like,
What is
No.
an original idea?
Yeah.
No,
we've seen that.
I don't.
There is a song in Peggy that certainly examples that same thing. You start off with the idea and then it like tempo changes and switches off. Which song am I thinking of?
Wonderland.
Wonderland?
probably, and then it comes back in to the original riff.
Oh yeah, that would be.
That's probably
Sure,
Wonderland. Yeah, I think that's probably Wonderland.
It's my favorite
yeah.
song.
That was like,
Yes, I
yeah,
think
that
that's
that
mine
was
as well.
like
Yeah.
sort of an ode to our love of just going off and
Yeah,
improvising. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta have one of those. But
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah. Do you guys consider yourself a jam band?
Ooh.
I think we have to
yeah,
at this
I
point.
guess kind of.
like
I don't know,
not all
so
the way, not all the way, like live for sure. But we definitely have parts still. Like
Yeah.
we have like we go off on jams, but usually we have like anchors, kind
Mhm,
of like
mhm.
point A, and then whatever we want to do to get back to point A again, or maybe go to point B. Like
Yep.
usually, like Miles will have a cool riff that he's been messing around with, or Joe will have like a beat that he's been doing, right? So we'll start with that, build on it, go off, and come back to it. It's usually like a dynamic shift because that's important too. I mean, it's dynamics are
Everybody does that.
everything. Yeah, dynamics are everything, man. Like you can't just be like the
No.
whole time,
That's where people feel like a lot of nowadays.
Yeah.
People are missing that.
Yeah.
Totally.
They're just like they're finding one little niche and they're sticking it in.
Yeah.
They're like, that's the song. That's the whole
Exactly.
thing.
They
That
start
was-
at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
can't
was
go past
like
10.
that was such a Zeppelin like aha moment for us. We were listening to Zeppelin live and being like, listen to how some of like their dynamic transitions are so seamless sometimes. Like it's like masterful. Like it's.
What's the song we listened to over and over again?
Oh
That
man,
Bruce-
we were
that
listening
Bruce tune?
to.
Days of Confused, but it was a different.
Yeah, the
one.
song remains the same live record, or maybe it was How the West Was Won.
I think it was How the West Was.
There
Won.
was just, it's like you didn't even realize it happened, and we both just stopped and were like, wait a minute.
Play that again.
Like we had to like rewind it and be like, how did they just do that? Like to go from here to here, but make it seamless and like make it work. It like that's not easy, Like we are trying, and it's hard,
We actually write a lot of songs in those improvisations
Yeah, Light and
too.
Shade.
Yeah.
Light and shade. Light and shade.
Yeah, that's what's great about improv, right? It's
Yeah.
like you come up with stuff, and then you're like, well, that's a song,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
We've come
Yeah,
up with
come
so
up
many
with
ideas.
ideas. For sure.
Our last recording session was that.
Oh,
Right.
sick. That's what's up.
We have this guitar idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool, record that. And
Yeah.
Make up drums on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's how like all of our most recent songs I feel like
yeah.
have come about.
Well, you guys did a really good job at capturing that feeling, like that organic.
Like that raw, like
Yeah.
you're in it kind of.
It
that
sounds
sound.
very
Yeah.
genuine the way you
Definitely.
managed to record it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
the
we were,
goal.
that's what we were going for.
We
Yeah,
were
thanks
giving
a lot.
the whole album I listened through today, which by the way, congratulations on 1 year release.
Oh,
Oh
thanks.
yeah.
guys.
Hey, I didn't even. I mean,
Snaps.
my friends had to like text me and be like, it's the 1 year anniversary. I was like, oh shit, it is. But
Yeah,
it's
congrats, guys.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
pretty cool.
Did anyone have a favorite song of yours on the album? Mine was probably, was it the Big Man?
Yeah.
The Big Man's
Oh,
probably.
fuck yeah.
Thank you. I
Thanks,
love
yeah.
that answer.
Yeah.
That's like a B-side answer.
Oh, that's like.
I call people like you're a B-side bitch.
Oh,
I'm also a B-side bitch.
Cheers.
So I know one when I see one.
Here, we'll just hold it. So
Hold
you
the
can cheers
drink,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretend you cheers me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Now I'm done.
Now you're done.
What about
that?
you got a
Hold
favorite
your
tune, don't
place.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, probably.
Not to be biased or anything.
No, I mean,
Very subjective
no,
answer.
I don't. I think Wonderland is probably my favorite on that record. Yeah, I just think the way that Nicole attacks her guitar in that song is so urgent.
Mhm.
It makes me feel the same. We're huge Jimmy fans too, like Jimi Hendrix, right?
Band of
So
Gypsies.
Band of Gypsies,
Specifically.
particularly. that
Specifically,
record.
Band of Gypsies.
Not the experience.
I mean,
Not the, well, the experience
No,
has their
it's
moments.
just hit and
but,
miss.
but Band of Gypsies, man, Buddy Miles and Billy Cox just like
The people you
they
should
just
be playing with.
backed
all the
him
time.
up the right way. I feel like Mitch Mitchell is always trying to kind of do his thing on top of whatever
Yeah,
Jimmy's
you
doing and
can't.
like compete with them.
Mhm.
But Billy and Buddy Miles just kind of like sit back and let him do it, and like it just showcases him so much harder.
Yeah, that
You
was
have to
all
let
the better
Jimmy be
floor for
Jimmy.
him.
Like,
Yeah, that was Jimi Hendrix at his purest.
Yeah. So I would say
When he
like
did it, though.
not to don't let this go to your head, but the way that you play Wonderland reminds me of that record, and I just love I love
And
that.
Nicole's going solo. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's
Just
just
so.
yeah.
Solo, no one can hear it.
No, I get it. Solo, no one can hear me. I get it. Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
That's yeah. I mean, obviously, that's all I'm trying to do, you know, like that's all Miles is trying to do, all Joe's trying to do, all I'm trying to do is just be like our heroes, but like in our own way. And you're like, are we even doing it? I don't know. So it's like, it's fun, but to get the validation once in a while, it's like, oh, okay, so we did that, nice, we did it.
Well, a room full of people cheering you on is usually good validation.
Yeah, that's good too. You don't know if they're lying though. Like people are just lying, you know?
True.
I lie all the time. This whole podcast, I haven't said one true thing.
Your name's not even really Nicole.
It's literally not even. I'm not even me.
Do you
So
really play guitar?
no, I don't. I just get lucky every time I pick it up.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh wow, I
She
can't
kind of just
believe
does
it.
this.
Oh my god,
on the
I'm
guitar.
That sounds
doing it.
decent. Wow. Amazing.
Oh man.
I would love to talk about your recording process.
Sure.
I'm a big fan. It seems to be, the more I talk to people about recording sessions, the more it becomes apparent that most people do not enjoy recording sessions. I very much love to be in the studio. I think that's like, I really find myself in there. I can hear like the way I actually sound and the way I want to sound, find that nexus. When you guys are recording, are you stoked about it? Is it an arduous process? Is it very enjoyable? How much writing do you do in the studio?
Okay.
You don't have to
That's
answer
a big
all of
question.
No, that's a
Loaded
great question
wonderful
though.
question.
I would say start with Miles
On how we
because
record,
he was the studio guy
Okay,
out of all of us at first.
Yeah.
We've all come to love it, but he kind of taught us
okay.
to love it. You know.
Well, first of all, I think that there's a big issue with, I think that it's kind of like looking for a relationship with bands and producers a lot of the time. And a lot of bands make maybe the mistake of like just going for like, somebody's like, oh, I want to work with you. And the band's like, sweet. And then they just like do everything they don't, or they just stay with the producer even if they're not enjoying the process anymore. You know what I mean? And that's a real shame.
It's a very intimidating process getting into a studio with someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
Sure, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
You know,
For
it
the
has to
band.
be a marriage.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. We have had situations where it's just not happening, and we are a pretty particular band as far as like knowing who we are. Like, I would say that we have a pretty solid identity. All of us like are on the same page with that.
Yeah.
So we had an experience, and my dad had like a demo studio, like we had like D88s, like digital tape machines, and like an old 1176 compressor, which is super dope piece of gear. But like that was pretty much the only piece of gear that we had, and like an old Mackie board, and so we started. I kind of thought to myself, it didn't work in this like crazy studio with a Neve board, because the guy won't listen to us, and I'm also a producer, I guess. So it was kind of like, why don't we just try to do it ourselves? Because who knows what we want to do better than we do.
Yeah.
And if I've got, like, my dad there was totally there to help. He co-produced and engineered the thing too. So he was just down for whatever we wanted to do. There was no questions asked, you know, it was just like, yes, let's do it.
He was just as excited as we were. It was
So
awesome.
the album was completely done DIY.
Yes,
Just
and actually all analog. There was
Nice.
We don't have a screen in our studio.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. And I mean, since then we've upgraded. We've got a lot more stuff. Impression recording studio. Impression recording studio.
Yeah.
Plug.
Always.
We gotta plug it. We gotta plug it.
We just got an audio board shipped in from the UK. That's pretty fun.
Shit.
Yeah. So,
That's
anyways,
pretty sweet.
there's some stuff happening there, but the kind of goal was like, we love, as we've said now a million times, Zeppelin and Jimmy and all that. So
We like raw.
we like raw,
You know?
authentic
Yeah.
music. We don't touch our stuff post. You know, like there's no metronome. Like we're all playing live in the studio together, and that's like how you got to do it for us, I guess. And so that's our process, and so we love being in the studio because it's just like playing live.
Yeah.
And we're our audience instead.
Yeah, like
right.
when I finally got into, like Joe and I had like one previous studio experience, and you know, we didn't really love it that much, and I kind of thought like, well, I guess that's how studios are, like is everything the same? And I didn't know, right? Like, cause because I had no other experience, and so
Yeah, nothing to base that in comparison.
yeah, and so I thought maybe I didn't like the studio, and then after making this album now, like it's been a year, and we're finally getting back into it next weekend. We're going to be recording some new stuff, and I can't wait. Like I'm so excited.
Next
It's
weekend
like
is
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
yeah,
And
so
that's written already.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We don't write in the studio, really.
Okay.
No,
We
no.
did write Don't Pit People in the studio. The
Yes,
riff part.
we did completely change. We did, yeah. But it's mostly like because we play so often, right? So it's
Yeah.
like we're always coming up with ideas, and then we write stuff, and then the next gig we try it, and if it works, it works. So that's the advantage, is that we are so rehearsed, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not getting into the
That's huge.
studio and figuring everything out.
Yeah.
We're getting in the studio and we're ready. Like everything is good to go. Set up, get the tones, and like we're good. Which is also what I like, because I don't love like waiting around, and we both have that, like waiting for other people and waiting. Like I know what I have in mind. I know what's like what I need, and I want to just go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I love the studio, and so I know Joe does too.
Yeah, I'd love to
so.
hear your opinion on that too, Joe. Like what?
I used to hate it. Now I like it.
There it is. Joe Sermonera.
I used to hate it. I used up until I'd say that this past year or two, I've been I was always super. We're all like this, but I was always super analytical and
Yeah,
critical.
you're really
Like
self-conscious.
I don't know if it's dumb to say every artist, but I would say most artists
Yep.
Yeah.
play, and no matter how good they are, they look at themselves through a very like critical lens on it. It's like that's
Microscopic.
the microscopic lens, like the whole time.
Yep.
So like out of 100 times I play the drums, I like 5 of them.
Yeah.
But I know, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a thing. You guys know.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then the studio really, it amplifies the way you feel stuff on your instrument,
Yeah.
like the way you play. So like stuff where it's not as important live, because live is more of like a,
It's there and it's gone.
it's there and it's gone kind of thing.
Yep.
Whereas once you record something and then you go and listen to it, and you sit there, and the more you listen to it, the
Yeah.
more you hate it,
Yeah.
even though it's probably good,
Yeah.
right?
And like
And
definitely
then-
good enough.
And then it's just, but I'd say definitely the past year, just because of the way the band's going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just really tried to let myself go of that,
Yeah.
and just like not care, like the things that I'm worrying about aren't things that anyone else worries about,
Yeah.
because they most of the 99% of the time they don't hear anything of what I think they're hearing.
Yeah.
And what helped that was I used to film myself a lot.
Yeah.
And I haven't in a long time. I probably should. I used to post on Instagram and stuff. But watching the videos back,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I remember at that part, I thought that sucked. It sounded fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that actually sounded fine. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's probably how it is almost all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm
Pretty
like,
much.
why don't I just play whatever comes to mind, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're also all like constantly hyping each other, like in the studio especially, like we'll get done and one of us is like, nope, like definitely not, and then, Miles or his dad will be like, just come in and hear it, because it's also different when you're hearing it all in context, right?
Totally.
They'll go in the room and listen and be like, oh, you know what, that actually,
Kinda sick.
that's not that bad, like you're so in it when you're in the studio.
Yeah.
Like there were some days that were a little too long. It was like, by the time we got out of it, it was just like, I don't even want to hear these songs anymore. And then the next day you listen to them again and you're like, okay, actually that's not bad.
Yeah, it's always like that ear break. You got to give yourself it's like you're so in it, you've heard like a million things you don't like, and it's like, oh my god, I gotta stop.
You gotta
and
step
hear it for the
out
first
for a
time.
second.
And then a week later, you listen to it, and you're like vibing to it, and you're like, oh,
Does that mean
that's
that?
actually pretty good. Yeah.
We're
And 9 times out of
not
10, it's
terrible.
like one of the first takes that you get that ends up being like the one you like the best. Is the
Totally.
end.
That
It's
was
just
the
like
case
torn
for pretty
apart.
much the
And you get to the
whole
end, you're like, yes, now
Yeah.
it's better. And then you listen back, you're like,
Oh
take
yeah.
2 was just fine.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Literally the whole album I think went like that.
The other thing too is like accepting and being proud of like small mistakes and like
Yeah.
like riffs, not the cool riffs, but like little riffs that happen. And,
Yeah.
and it's like those,
The human element.
it's so character
Yeah.
building, you know.
Well, when you record analog, you have to be ready to accept those things,
Yeah,
right?
We live in like, you know, Instagram where people
Everything's
are
polished.
adjusting.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect.
Yeah, everything's so perfect all the time, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's exhausting to the eye. It's inhuman. We're not we're people that, you know, art is made by humans. So, you know, paintbrushes and like paint strokes on a
Art's
canvas.
not perfect.
Yeah,
It's
it's
supposed to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and on top of that, you're seeing one take. Every video you watch on the internet, you're seeing one take of
Exactly.
300.
Yeah.
For to whatever
Yeah.
kind of number, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that guy's so good, but then meanwhile he's been in his bedroom playing, trying to get the right take for 5
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never
It's
told
like-
you that.
It's like, you know,
Oh yeah,
we all
I've been
yeah,
that. I've been that person.
everyone does
you
that.
know?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been that person, and
Yeah,
then I'm like,
100%.
"Fuck, man, like, what's the point? Like, you know, tomorrow we have a like tomorrow night I have a gig and I'm gonna play all the stuff I'm playing now, and I'm not gonna do any of it over, and it's just gonna have to be good. And I don't,
Exactly.
you know, and then I get in my room the next day and I try to do it again, and if it's not perfect the first time, like, it's not how it works, you know.
Yeah.
I am a big guitar pedal person, unlike my associate. Are you a pedal person?
No.
No. What's your setup like?
Okay, well, like, I will say since we have been developing as a band, I have been experimenting more with pedals just because there are
There you go.
ways I want to branch out that I'm gonna need to, but it, like gear, it was very much like playing first, gear second for me.
Totally. As
So-
it should be.
That's
And but you know, you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm a professional now, so like I should have at least a base knowledge of like, you know, certain, because I'm usually just like, what sounds good, you know? So like that's my tone, is like I just like do it by ear. So when it comes to like pedals and stuff, it's like, where do you start? Like
Right.
they're so like
Overwhelming.
yeah, like I've got 3 pedals on my pedal board
Yeah.
that my friend basically made for me because I just watched him do it. I was like, I got no idea, like you know, like, and that was like 2 years ago. And they're all like falling off the board. They're all like janky, and I don't care about about fixing them. And I really should. It's like I take it out of this janky ass box, and it's like
With case
they're like falling off the board, and I'm like adjusting them, and like people are like guitar players in the audience, and I don't even know they're in the audience, are probably like,
What the fuck is going on?
If I can just paint you a really quick mental picture, behind you on the pedal shelf there, you'll notice 3 Boss stop boxes.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was performing, I was in a band at university, and we were playing gigs every now and again, and my pedal board was a piece of floorboard
oh yeah,
that was discarded.
Classic.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
Like just like laying around the house, we found it. I stuck 4 pieces of Velcro on it.
yeah.
I had those 3 stump boxes, and then the Outlaw 24K Gold Reverb, which was stolen at our last show. But that was it. It was just those
Yeah.
4 pedals on a piece of wood, and I would just like pick it up and put it under my arm.
But it works. It works.
It was just
you know,
fun.
and that's what I tell myself every time. I'm like, well, it works for what I do.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see the pedal board that the bass player from that band we played with at Warehouse?
Oh, yeah,
Days on Parade, shout out Days on
Oh
Parade.
yeah, yeah, they're a sweet
sick.
band.
They're sick.
They played before us
Yeah.
at our last show we had at a venue in St. Catharines.
Yeah.
And the bass player had
Like a
his
skateboard.
pedal board was a skateboard.
Hey, so sick.
Yeah.
So
That was
awesome.
my first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a skateboard. He had all of his pedals on it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought it was sweet.
Yeah.
I have pedals now.
Yeah,
Yeah, Miles has pedals.
Miles is getting into the pedal thing too. You know, I mean, I definitely don't. I'm definitely not somebody who's like, I'll never use pedals because, you know, technology is, you know, blah blah blah. But you know, like to a point, like to do what you want to do to get the sound you want to get, like you're gonna need some stuff,
100%.
right? So I'm
Yeah.
not like against it. I just don't know a lot, and I don't have like a mass amount of knowledge about it. But I'm learning as I go. You know.
It's not necessary. It's
Yeah.
a luxury.
Yeah,
And it's totally personal too. Like if you want that augmentation of your sound, it's always an option, but not necessary, like you said. I have another question. We're getting to the end of the podcast here, but we'll find a nice tidy time to cut it off. You can hear the guys doing sound check underneath us, I'm sure. What is your dream venue to play at?
Oh shit. Royal Albert Hall.
Ooh, that's a good one.
one.
Probably
Yeah,
that.
like that
I
a
just
lot.
want to do
Sassy.
everything Zeppelin
That's my
did.
that's my dream, man. I want to be on that stage.
This is just a Zeppelin podcast.
I want to set up where Bonham set up and just lay on the floor and maybe smell it a little bit. I don't know if that's weird. Don't care though.
No.
Don't care. Yeah.
I want to play like in front of the pyramids.
Ooh.
You know?
Okay.
Wow.
Is that
Wow.
a venue? Just a place.
That's
Yeah.
Place to
No
go
venue.
into
Just
it.
like
Miles wants to go
I want to go to Egypt.
yeah.
set up on the sand.
Just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
play
Quite
right.
the backdrop.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
sounds
It's all about
great.
the backdrop. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In the daytime.
So you can do that.
No,
Wow.
at dusk.
We've got
The
the pyramids of Giza.
Right.
Very
No, okay, if I'm gonna
different.
answer that question honestly.
That wasn't honestly.
Well, that was
It
that was pretty
was.
honest, yeah. I don't know. I actually never think. Yeah, no, I'm just keeping it. No, we'll stick
Okay,
with the pyramids. Yeah,
pyramids.
yeah, that's cool.
Alright.
That's cooler than anything else
And
I
last
come
but
up
not
with.
least.
Yeah, I mean, Joe said Royal Albert. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, like the Troubadour. That'd be pretty cool too.
That would be cool.
Madison Square Garden.
Uh,
That's typical though.
I don't know. I don't.
Barricade
I,
the
there's no, none of that stuff. Of course, it would be amazing. It would be a dream come
To be
true.
able
It
to
would.
play
But when I
exactly
think
like
about
that, to
like
play it.
iconic venues that like all of my favorite people played in, I'm thinking a little bit
Fillmore,
smaller, I guess.
where
and,
Band
like-
Gypsies played.
Warehouse.
Oh yeah, that's cool too.
What was that? Fillmore East.
I don't know, man.
I think something like that.
Yes.
Just to give you some context, mine, which I'm going to play one day, will be Massey Hall. And it's
Oh,
like
nice.
not even unattainable, right? Like
Totally.
that's-
Yeah,
Totally.
that's a good one.
Yeah, in the next couple of years, that's where I want to set up shop.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
hell
a
yeah.
that's
That's
a
gonna
great-
happen for you too.
Yeah, Red Rocks is cool too.
I was thinking Red Rocks,
yeah.
man.
Oh,
I
Red
was
Rocks.
thinking Red Rocks.
Yeah, Red Rocks would be sick.
I feel like that still gives you your like rocky outdoor fantasy that
Listen,
I'm just learning
it's
about now.
not the
Apparently,
It's not quite the
It's a
pyramid.
few steps
Oh,
away from
Bohemian
the-
Grove, that weird secret society.
do- we
thing.
should go
I want to play in
full-
front of the weird
yeah.
owl that they burn every year.
Go full Spinal Tap and get statues of the pyramids.
There we go.
Put it
But
on
they're like this
up there like
big.
this, like
Yeah.
this big, yeah, yeah, and then we could get you two to dance around.
yeah.
No,
Those are three solid answers.
that's about it.
We'll take those.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to think of the one weird question to ask at the end of every podcast.
Apparently I failed. That was not weird enough.
Oh, that's not weird at all.
Oh, well, let's get weird.
That's not a weird
We
question.
can get weird.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Hey man, you put the onus
I
on
know.
yourself.
Like,
man.
you might have
out there,
trouble
and now I'm
weirding
sitting
us
here
out.
And I'm like, what's the weird question? I don't know. Is pineapple and pizza? How do you guys feel about this?
Honestly, like
With 3 yeses.
I think there's room for
a thing,
I think
yeah.
there's room for everybody's preferences in this world.
But that's not the question we
That's
asked you.
very.
You have to
cool.
answer.
I
that.
love how
So unified.
I love how successfully
So
just curved the
unified.
question.
You have to answer the
But
question.
no, yeah, that's a yes.
Everybody's opinion is valid.
Yeah, I'd say honestly, I've tried it before and I was like, this slaps. I don't know why everyone's so mad about
So
it.
we're taking 3 yeses here.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
like that as the final question.
I like that too.
Because then we do like a
however, I do
ratio
have
as
another
well.
one. We are big inside joke people. We have a lot of things that we
You don't even know.
And other people watch us from the outside. And
Yeah.
Oh
they're
man.
like, what is your weirdest or most consistent?
What are we talking about?
or
Here?
most
We got
wrong
so many.
inside
Like-
joke?
Well, some of them we
Buddy.
probably can't say.
Most of them we
Most
can't
of them we
say.
can't say.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, we come up with so many that we don't even remember them. Like, it's basically the basis of our entire band.
There was
It's just
with the most recent one was probably the peaches.
Peaches one, yeah.
Yeah, the peaches.
What's your
things.
guys' favorite fruit?
Oh, here we go. And this is a question. We're on the other side
Okay.
of the
I'm a
thing.
tropical fruit person.
yeah, me
so
too.
Mango,
Favorite-
coconut, pineapple.
Okay.
and-
All right, well you're not correct, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
gonna
what's
say-
really your favorite fruit though?
I'm gonna go honestly. I'm gonna say strawberries, just because of how ubiquitous.
No,
they are.
that's
Yeah,
not
I don't
it.
think that's-
But what is your
Like-
I don't think that's it.
favorite fruit?
That's actually
You know in your
best
heart what it
fruit.
is.
That's not it.
And that's not it.
Are you trying to steer me towards a particular answer?
Well, I don't
I'm
know.
just,
I've
well,
just-
well, from what
the
I'm,
right
the vibe
answer.
I'm getting is that you're just lying.
Is it,
It's not
is it
str-
supposed to be grapefruit or
Liars
something like
like
that?
No.
That's not. I feel like
certainly
okay,
not.
maybe
It's
it's
similar,
maybe
like
it's
round
your.
and-
It's like
Yeah.
kind of the same color.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of like
Oh, is
a.
it supposed to be peaches?
There we go. All right, there it is. End of the podcast. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that's a wrap.
There we go.
Goodbye, everybody. everybody.
Play a rock show night.
All right, that's it. That's it.
I have so many questions, but I think us and our viewers should kind of just be left blue balls here and
Yes.
wondering what that was all about.
The bluest of balls.
Yeah.
Some things
honestly,
can't be explained, and
yeah.
nor should they be.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you, JIN the Band, for coming in today. We are very excited to have you as our first podcast members, and we can't wait to see your set downstairs.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for having us,
We're stoked.
guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.